So I think we'll go ahead and get the program started. I want to thank everyone for attending this evening. We haven't seen this room this full in a long time, so this is really refreshing. Anyhow, thank you for attending the 2017 Pat Jewett Volunteer Appreciation Award. It is our hope that events like this will continue to inspire others to donate their time and talents to continue to make Litchfield a great place to live and raise a family. As you're all aware, Mrs. Linda Peeples is here this evening with us. I've not met Linda, so there she is. And she is our recipient. It's also an honor to have Pat Jewett here with us this evening. And last year's recipient, Margaret Parent. So we're going to have a program here this evening that will have some citizens talk to you about why Linda was chosen as this year's recipient. And before we go further, I just wanted to make sure, so we don't forget, I wanted to thank Laura Gandia for all the work she's done in making sure this evening. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Frank Byron. He is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Could you please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to ask Selectman Brent Lemire to come up and talk to us a little bit about what the Pat Jewett Volunteer Award is all about.
Thank you, Troy. Welcome, everyone. It is great to see the room full, and it's great to see Pat. And on Wednesday, she will celebrate her birthday. So I think I'm behind. Well, I wasn't going to ask Pat.
Oh, I knew you were thinking of it.
So Pat will be 89. Well, congratulations, Pat. The Pat Jewett Volunteer Appreciation Award is given annually on or about March 1st to a Litchfield resident who has demonstrated extraordinary commitment to public and community service in the town of Litchfield, possessing the same characteristics of M. Patricia Jewett that has cemented her legacy of public and civic service into the annals of town history. Who is Pat Jewett? I've had the pleasure of knowing Pat for over 40 years. And some of you in the room, a lot longer than that. Pat, Patricia Jewett, or M. Patricia Jewett, known to all as Pat, was born on March 1st. She grew up in Derry, and she lived in Litchfield since 1950. She is a widow. Her husband was Willis Jewett. She had 4 children. She retired from the National School District with over 30 years of experience teaching elementary and special education. She was educated in the Derry schools, Pinkerton Academy, graduated from UNH with a bachelor's degree from Lowell University with a master's in education. And she was the town's first female selectman. Pat was recognized on March 1st, 2014 by the Board of Selectmen for her over 40 years of community and public service in Litchfield, and for devoting countless volunteer hours to groups and individuals in order to make their projects and quality of life in town better. Pat served on numerous civic and community boards, such as trustee of trust funds, Conservation Commission, Nashua Regional Solid Waste District. She was a welfare officer, Community Council of Nashua, Planning Board, School Board, Board of Selectmen, Board of Adjustment, Recreation Committee. I'm trying to piece all of this together and put them all together. Town Cleanup Day Chair, Memorial Day, Pearl Harbor Day, and Veterans Day Chair, and the Town Hall and School Building Committee. And the affiliations, Pat, are too numerous to mention. She always made herself available to the residents, dedicating hours of personal time and quietly spending her own resources to assist those in need. She was and still is considered a driving force in Litchfield, organizing many annual community activities and events, such as the annual school supplies drive and holiday basket program. As a wife of a veteran, she endeavored to honor Litchfield residents who served our country in the past by organizing the annual Pearl Harbor Day recognition and revitalizing the World War II Veteran Recognition Plaque at Town Hall. She continues to support those who serve today by organizing holiday gift packages for our local men and women serving in the armed forces. Pat is known to all as a truly dedicated, frugal, and selfless volunteer who loves her community. Her only request is for others to get involved and help people who need it. The Board of Selectmen is grateful for the opportunity to participate in an event such as this, as it keeps Pat's vision alive. Thank you.
Okay, next I'd like to ask Laura Gandia to come up and explain a little bit more about Linda Peeples.
Good evening. I am, as you know, the third annual Pat Jewett Volunteer Appreciation Award recipient is Linda Peeples. For those of you who do not know her, and for those of you who do know her, I had a chance to speak with her about this award and would like to give you some insight as to who she is. First, I would like to acknowledge Christy McQuestion for nominating her for this award and would like to read portions of Christy's nomination. Christy wrote, "I am nominating Linda because she exemplifies the true meaning and replication of Pat Jewett. Linda has run the food pantry in town on behalf of the Litchfield Presbyterian Church for a very long time. She is always on call. Linda has also organized the Angel Tree in town for a very long time and makes sure that every child has a Christmas at Christmas time. She has organized Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas food baskets for needy people in town probably close to 15 years. She has taken more time for people in the community as a deacon of the church. She visited the elderly and homebound and has taken many to doctor's appointments and even dog sat for people who were ill and in the hospital. Just 2 years ago, she was nominated for and recognized as one of New Hampshire's most outstanding women. She gives tirelessly of herself. She has also been a member of the Litchfield Lions Club, where she served as president, membership chairperson, and tail twister. Linda has done all these things with a smile. She goes about her daily business and never says boo about it. I am certain there are things that I have missed, but she does so much I can't keep up." Thank you, Christy. Christy's line, "She goes about her daily business and does not say boo about it," could not have been more on point. I interviewed Linda, and one of the characteristics that stood out the most was her humility. I recently read an article about humility and being humble and wanted to share a few thoughts from that article. The article from the Huffington Post, titled 7 Ways to Tell If You're a Truly Humble Person, spoke of 7 traits truly humble people have mastered that allow them to live full and accomplished, happy lives. Those traits are: 1, they focus energy on others, putting others before themselves. 2, they are conscientious and act compassionately. 3, their moral compass guides their decision-making. 4, they see happiness as a journey. They get caught up in projects, people, and things that they consider bigger and more important than themselves, and then they get more happiness as a byproduct. 5, they excel as leaders. 6, they know good things lie ahead, and they're okay waiting for them, being thankful for the opportunities they have and receive. And 7, they have strong relationships and possess a genuine graciousness for others. When I finished reading this article, I was waiting to see a picture of Linda. Linda has given with humility to the town of Litchfield in so many ways. Linda is no stranger to the Litchfield Presbyterian Church. She has been a member of the church for 24 years and a deacon for 20, where she has served communion, visited with the sick, those who are sick. She usually goes with flowers in hand and is not limited to the members of the church. Her work knows no boundaries. In her role as a deacon, she has been in charge of and a huge part of the food pantry in town. Some people in town may not even know of its existence, but Linda has given to the community through the food pantry in countless ways. Currently, 40 families in town serve and receive assistance twice a month on part of Linda's efforts. There are bigger needs around the holidays, especially when Linda steps up to the plate and really helps families in Litchfield. Along with other deacons, she is responsible for organizing the Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas baskets and works with other churches such as St. Francis to help families in town. She receives donations from the community and from her church to assist in these efforts. At Christmas time, she organizes the angel tree and has been doing so for 8 years. Right after Thanksgiving, she doesn't give herself a break. She works with families in the schools to identify those in need. She compiles a list and works with the community to ensure that these families have a Christmas. The Sunday before Christmas, Litchfield Community Presbyterian Church is filled with gifts for these children. She even helps organize a harvest dinner for those who support the food pantry, recognizing them for support while taking no recognition for herself. And it doesn't stop here. She is actively involved in the Litchfield Lions Club, which is part of the largest civic organization in the world, similar to the Grange or the Knights of Columbus. The Lions Club has its impetus from Helen Keller to help people. She has served as president of the Lions Club, membership chairperson, and tail twister. She helps with the yearly eye screening at GMS and LMS and is giving out hearing aids to people in need. When she learns of a family in need, she steps in to see how she can help, one time raising $10,000 for a family who is undergoing a tragedy. She assists with the duck race, Appreciation Day, and photos with Santa, which all take place at McQuestion's farm. She's a part of many fundraisers which benefit the community, such as the Toll Road, ice cream socials, yard sales, and the Polar Express at Aaron Cutler Memorial Library. She's also involved with scholarship opportunities for students in Litchfield. She served as town trustee for 3 years as well. In addition to all of this, her personal life is full as well. She is married to Ray Peeples, and they will be celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary in October. She has 3 children, 2 of whom reside in Litchfield, and 3 grandchildren, all of whom reside in Litchfield, and a dog named Sammy. She also has her own business, Dust Bowl Cleaning, which she has owned and operated for 19 years. An amazing and inspiring lady. Now I would like to welcome Pastor Laurie Wiley, who will share some words about Linda.
It's an honor to be here today for this purpose. I met Linda at the food pantry. When I first came to the church, the leaders had said there should be 2 people in the food pantry. So I'm like, I'll be her second. So I would sit with her and watch her. And I want to tell you firsthand what that food pantry is like. People walk in the door, and she knows them by name. She knows them all. I think almost all of them by name. So she greets them personally. She asks them how they're doing. She knows enough about them to do her own wellness check. And then she jokes with them. And I think there are many people who come to the food pantry because of Linda, not because I don't think their priority is always the food. Sometimes it's just the friendship that she offers at the food pantry. So while we were there, she told me a little bit about her life and her philosophy, and I'll just share a little bit that she grew up in upstate New York, and her mother and her sister still live there. And there she went to school with her childhood sweetheart, whom she married, and then he got a job here in New Hampshire, and he'll probably tell you more about that. So they came here and raised their 3 children and are very involved and invested in their grandchildren as well. And we're glad that the grandchildren are here tonight. we could go over the long list of things that Linda has done and is doing, but I just want to mention briefly, it's all about her heart. It's not accomplishments that I want to bring out, because she has many of those, but she has a heart for people. And her philosophy is, nobody in Litchfield will go hungry. How many times has Linda said that to me? Nobody in Litchfield will go hungry. And she even said, and this shocked our leadership team, I don't care what time of day it is, I am available 24/7. If these people are hungry, I will see that they get food. Now, I pinned her down because we were all worried about her safety, right? Oh, you're going to go out there in the middle of the night by yourself with people that you might or might not know, and she is safety conscious, but her overriding thing is her heart for those who are in need, and that's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. As was mentioned, she has her own business. She's very busy with a lot of things. What was not mentioned yet was that Linda was in a terrible accident, that she was out on the street and she was hit by a taxi, and she experienced a lot of injuries. So Linda would have every right to declare that she's disabled, to lie down on her couch and watch TV all day. She could do that because of her injuries. But that is not Linda. She is a get-up-and-go person, and she is not going to let her physical limitations hold her back. But she is out there reaching out to people all over the community. So it's truly an honor for me to be here with you today and share the kind of heart she has. And really, that's true of you too, Pat. You know, you have a lot of accomplishments, and we really honor you for those. But Pat has a heart for people. She had a heart for those kids, the special needs children that she taught. And she had a heart for the people in Litchfield that were having financial problems, and she reached out to them in all kinds of ways. And we love hearing your stories, Pat, about you're reaching out to so many people. So Linda is carrying the torch forward, and we're just so grateful for that, and I am honored to speak on her behalf.
Okay, I'd like to ask Diane Jerry to say a few words.
Nice to see everybody here for this very deserving lady. Some people could stand here and rattle off a list of every office they've ever held, every committee they've ever joined, and everything they've ever done for anybody. Linda Peeples isn't one of them. She doesn't keep score. If there's a need, she'll fill it without making a big deal out of it. She doesn't look for recognition. She doesn't expect you to remember it and return the favor. And when she's done, she goes home. She doesn't stand around waiting for a pat on the back. I've known Linda for a long time. For years, my impression was of a carefree woman, always upbeat and ready to have a good time. She's certainly always ready to bring things to a new level. I've seen her stand out by the street honking on a duck whistle to attract customers to a Lions Club duck race, and jump into the middle of a group of line dancers even though she hadn't a clue how to do the dance. When she was selected as one of New Hampshire's outstanding women a few years ago, she hopped up on a table to lead the dancing at a party celebrating the honor. That's the face Linda presents to the world, and it's a great face. But behind it lives a kind, gentle soul who often ignores her own pain in order to alleviate somebody else's, and who generally puts other people's needs before her own. She's even taken on the occasional job for which other people have volunteered her. Like the election when nobody filed for town trustee, and Ray suggested we all write her in. Then he went home and announced that she'd won. I don't know how that conversation went, but she did fulfill the duties of that office, even though she'd never wanted it. Linda is a good sport, a good worker, and an all-around good person, like Pat Jewett, and she's a fitting recipient of the Pat Jewett Volunteer Appreciation Award.
Okay, I'd now like to ask Linda's husband, Raymond Peeples.
Well, this is the opportunity I've waited for my whole life. I have Linda on the hot seat with a whole room full of people. Oh, my gosh. No, I've been married to Linda, going to be 40 years, and I have to tell you, from the time I first met her in high school until today, the woman gives of her heart. And she does that, as Diane so outlined, selflessly. And just to bring it up to speed, when we did get her elected, which was not my idea, it was Terry Brand's, just to make this perfectly clear. I got home, she was asleep because we had stayed counting ballots and it was late. And I told her she got elected, and she was astonished because she said, "I'm not running for anything." I said, "Oh, we took care of that." And she's not quite as frugal as Pat, but she's not far off. Pat can still get 3 cents change out of a penny, and Linda's only up to 2. But she does, at the drop of the hat, leave the house to go down to the food pantry. I can tell you one story just not that long ago. There was somebody walking down Route 3A, obviously a person that had no means. And Linda went to the food pantry, and she put together a package of food, drove down the street to catch up with the guy and stopped him, gave him the food, so he had something to eat. She goes out of her way to do those kind of things, not only for people she knows, but for people she doesn't know. We are very fortunate to have all our family here and some great friends in Litchfield. Back in 1989, Richard Stanley, who's here tonight, thought it would be funny to hire me because he needed somebody to do a job for him. And after all these years, I'm still here. And, of course, I moved my family down here and into the country. And I know when the kids first got here, they wanted to run for home because we'd moved from a city environment to the country environment. And we told them they had to rake 6.5 acres. They were astonished. But she took all that with stride and relocating down here and integrating in this community. And I think she's done a wonderful job of that. And certainly she's put up with me all these years. She should get an award or two just for that alone. But Linda, I love you. You do a great job, and keep up the good work.
Okay, now I'd like to ask Laura Gandy and Pat Jewett to present this year's 2017 award.
What? I'm going to speak first. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have to tell you a joke before I start. This is really funny. This will tell you that we're really getting old. Today I baked from 7:10 until about 2 o'clock. Then I went and had my hair done. And then I came back and I put 3 big trays of goodies that I had baked and put it out on the front steps. But this wasn't until about 10 after 5. And Laura called me and she said, "I'm running a little late, but I'll be there shortly." And I said, "That's okay." Then I had given some goodies to a friend of mine before that had taken me over to have my hair done. And then I had another box of goodies, and I had a big box like this. And I said to her, "Well, you have to come early because I'm going to go to the town, and I can't miss that, And she says, "Oh, well, just put it in a box, and if you're not there, I'll just take the box and go." And I said, "Okay." Well, we got home, and Laura came to pick me up, and we went to look, and I said to her, I said, "Well, the box, no, that box is not for you. that's for another friend of mine that needs it. And she says, oh, well, I said, but the 3 trays are for us. And they were gone. I said, oh, let's call the Litchfield Police Department. Oh, what are we going to do? But what happened, the woman that was supposed to come to take the box of goodies took the 3 trays and left the box of goodies for her. Laughed. I thought, oh. I said to her, oh, what can I bring? I have some bought cookies I could always give you. Crackers and cheese, I could bring you that. And bull. But that tells you it's really funny. I said, oh. You can't imagine. I mean, you just, once you've been involved, as much as Linda and I have, you and Margaret, you just don't get over it. And it's so hard. I mean, I might be old, but I still want to go, and I still want to do things, and I want to help people. And it's awful when you can't. So do it now while you can, and do it for Jewett. That's the way. My motto used to be firm, fair, and fun, because I was a school teacher. And I was firm. They didn't get away with too much. But I was very fair, and if a kid was telling me, I'm having a science test, Mrs. Jewett, I'm going to flunk it, I don't know anything, I'd say, you come during my lunch hour, and I'll help you, and you'll get at least a C. And sure enough, the kid would. And fun, I always wanted fun. I thought, you kids work hard, and at the end of the period, if you're good, we'll have something special. And so I'd make up a game, and it would be something that people learned already, and it was a good review for them. But so then I thought, and I always thought when I was in politics that I could be firm, and I was fair, and I was fun too. And I thought, you have to have fun, or else you can't continue doing something like that. But I've had to change now. Now I have a pacemaker, I have a pig's valve, my hearing is not good, my eyes are not good, but, my heart is, I still want to give, whether I can do it or not. Okay, since I'm unable to drive anymore because of my health reasons, I felt I should resign as a selectman. That job was the hardest project that I ever have done in my life, was to resign. I wish you could have seen when I was writing the resignation. I cried like a baby, and I thought, of course, I lost Will 7 years ago, and then when I had to resign from this, that was just too much. Okay. So anyway, I cried because I still do a lot to share with my family and my friends and the elderly of the town. And, it helps to boost their emotional part of them and their physical part and their social needs by just sharing with it. So I give them food. I love to cook, so that's my opportunity. Linda is a good example of helping the old and the young, the rich and the poor, and anyone who needs a hug just to help them. When my husband first died, I'd go to church and I'd cry like a baby. And she'd come, Pat, you're okay. That's fine. That's all right. And, it really did help me. So I've kind of taken on that, too. It really does help. So I always say, keep up your hard work, Linda, and encourage others, just like we have done. Many times people need to be asked to help. There are many good workers in the town, and all they want to be doing is to be asked to help. And you and I are both pushy people. It's okay to be pushy, as long as you're not too pushy. And then you ask them, and they might not be willing to take charge of something, but they'll at least help you. And I don't think I've ever had anybody say, really, no, I won't do it, Pat. What's the matter with you? No. But so I think that you can kind of bribe them. And I'll tell you, Margaret parents over there, and I'm thinking, looking at her, it made me think. The way I got to be a selectman, or a select woman, whatever you want to call it, was I was chairman of the budget committee, and there was a man on the budget committee, and he didn't come too often. He was the selectman's representative, and I said, oh, you know what? You're not going to get very much in your town budget if you guys don't show up and help us. You need to be there. And so he said, Pat, if you think you could do a better job, why don't you run? And I said, oh, that's something. I did it nice. I wasn't very pushy to him, and I was surprised. And he said, no, I'll even campaign for you. And so between Margaret Parent, Linda Davis, and 2 or 3 others, Margaret Radonis, I decided, I'd run for selectman. That would be interesting. But I never thought I'd get it. Never. But I did. But anyway, I enjoyed it. It was really quite a challenge, and I loved doing the welfare part of it. I did that for 22 years, and it was a wonderful opportunity to help people. I even used to help them to cook. I'd bring my cooking things down, and I would buy the things for them, and I'd buy the same thing for myself, and I'd say, let's make it together. They had never cooked a chicken. They had never made a casserole, and I thought, wow. So we taught them how to do that, too. So I think it's wonderful to be able to help people. And if you want to get to be old, like me, I'm old, well, you ought to do volunteering because it'll help you keep young. If you're not health-wise good, at least you'll be up this way a little bit. But, you get older and you forget too. So anyway, so I want to say congratulations to Linda, and we need more people like you in this town. We need your help in our schools, in our church, in our community, to make our world, make our town and our world a better place to live in. Congratulations, Linda. I really love it.
And I just wanted to, before we present the award to Linda, is to tell you some things that she said when I was talking to her about this award that really goes to the heart of who she is. And she said them all with humility. Regarding the angel tree, she said, I like it. The kids have a smile on their face. When talking about the sick, she said, you're supposed to do stuff like that. That is what my parents taught me. Treat people the way you want to be treated. When she learned she was the recipient of the award, in response to thanking her for all that she does, she said without hesitation, I do it for the people. Linda, the people, the community, and the town of Litchfield truly appreciate your service to our town and would like to award you with the 2017 Pat Jewett Volunteer Appreciation Award.
Presented to Linda Peeples for rock-solid volunteer service and commitment to our community. Congratulations. I love that. There's some flowers for you, too. Oh, yeah. Good care of them. Oh, look at some more flowers. Oh, wow.
And these are for you.
Oh, wow, no. Wow. Some for me, too. Wow. See? To be a volunteer. Right? I told you. Yeah. It comes back to you 100 ways, I say. Thank you.
I don't know why everybody said everything that I was going to say. Yeah. So I might as well just throw it out the window. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming here. It means a lot to me. So, I mean, Oscars were last night, Pat Jewett Award tonight. What can be better, you know? Except we don't have a red carpet, but that's okay. Okay. When I received a phone call a couple of weeks ago saying that I was nominated by she didn't say Christy, but I found out. So you're coming up for this award. I said to myself, "Oh no, not again," because 2 years I was nominated, as was said before, for WSID by my daughter. So, anyways, so I am just honored to accept this award. And I'm following 2 great women's footsteps, Pat Jewett and Margaret Parent. So, anyways, I don't know. I do... Say what? I have good ears, Kevin, Are you running in the church? Okay. I do what I do not to get a pat on the back, not to get an award, not for gratification. I do it because I enjoy helping people. I was taught by my parents, treat people the way that you want to be treated. So if you see somebody down, pick them up. If you see a veteran, say thank you and shake their hands. If you see a crying child, comfort them, and always be humble and kind. I am proud to say that I live in this town with my family, Ray, Heather, Amanda, and Chris, and my grandchildren for 26 years, and have so many good friends and memories here. When we first moved here from Buffalo, our kids said, I want to turn around. Take us back. You moved us to nowhere. But they all have adjusted very well, and proud to call Litchfield their home. When Pat Jewett first retired from everything that her and Will did, I said to myself, and I said to Ray and a few other people, that we should recognize her because she did so much. I'm so thankful that you did. So anyways, there's so many great organizations in Litchfield that I wish more people would get involved with. There's the Litchfield Lions Club, the Litchfield Women's Club. There used to be a garden club. There's so many churches, organizations through the churches to get involved in. There's the library, the men's group, the Boys and Girls Scouts, and of course the senior group. So it'd be nice to get involved because I'll tell you, you get good, I don't know. What? Well, whatever. But, I mean, I don't know, but I do it because I want to do it. And I get such a good feeling from doing it, seeing people being happy. And so anyways, I want to thank you all for coming here tonight. It means a lot to me, and I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Linda. Well, that concludes our program this evening. It's absolutely amazing to witness this for my second time. I'll go home this evening. My wife will say, so what did you do tonight? And she says, how do you explain what just occurred here? It's just magical, and it's amazing. I love hearing the stories about Pat and yourself, Linda, and Margaret. It really is special. So it really, it brings community together. It's so meaningful. So it's nice to recognize, our volunteers, and I'd like to thank all of our volunteers this evening that serve on our boards and committees, commissions throughout the year. It's very important. Without their dedication and commitment, it'd be very difficult to run government and provide the services that we do every day in this community. So it makes Litchfield a great place. And it can only happen through the volunteers. So again, I want to thank them. I've mentioned Laura's involvement, but I also would like to thank Chris Gondia for his helping us set up. Liz McDonald for setting up and helping the nomination. Kevin Lynch. And Terry Brienne she was not able to be here this evening. With that, we conclude today's ceremony, and there are refreshments out in the foyer for everyone. Thank you all for coming.